Hello everyone, my name is Amy Donnelly. This is my leadership interview for COM 430. So when starting this assignment, I thought a lot about the different leaders I look up to and those characteristics and people who influence me in my life. And when I thought about it, most of them were well into their careers or had tons of working experience in the professional world and have made huge impacts. Examples of this were like managers, CEOs, professors, people who have been in their career, you can say, have their career. This is great, and I'm not saying that would not be an ideal candidate for this project, but it made me think a little bit further, a little bit more outside the box, because every time I was thinking about it, I was like, these people are great leaders, but just because they have all that, does that mean, if you do not have that, you can't be a great leader? So with that, I didn't want to just hear the leaders of now in that moment in time, but leaders, younger people, specifically my age, who I thought would be a leader in the future. With that, I chose to interview a senior on campus who is the lead success coach at the First Year Success Coach Center for WP Caring. His name is Kevin Derby. In our modern times, we learn a lot from our superiors and our mentors. However, I feel we can learn the most from our peers. In Kevin's interview, my goal was to see how he makes an impact at such a young age, how he leads in his FYS work environment, and the takeaways from his experience overall. At the beginning of the interview, I first asked him what his definition of leadership was. He said that leadership, or a leader, to him was someone who was goal-oriented, gives support, and leads by example through experience and knowledge. He claimed he based this definition onto the biggest leaders in his life, which is his parents. They both started a business from the ground up together, both had careers outside before this business, academically, financially, professionally, experience-wise. He believes that they have always been there for him, not just as a parent, but as a role model and leader to look up to. And he honestly believes that that's where he gets most of his leadership qualities from. This brought up a great discussion about nature versus nurture. I was curious to hear his thoughts. As an ongoing argument that has great points and valid validity on both sides, I found it interesting to hear his theory on that. And it was actually interesting because when he said he believed that his parents gave him these great skills, which would be more on the nature side, but that it was up to him to house his experiences growing up with those great skills given to him and nurture them together to grow and become excellent ones. So kind of a fusion of both, which I found interesting and I liked because he said with that, it wouldn't just make him a great leader, but an excellent one, which is his goal. From there, he talked about how he uses that mindset to lead his team and mentor many of the different students on campus. When asked why he was first intrigued in the first place, he instantly answered he wanted to be a mentor. He wanted to be someone that people look up to, not just because of what the role they're in, but because of who he is and how he impacted their lives, which was, I thought, great, because most of the time people just get that leadership because of the position they're in, but not because of who they are, which is a huge part of being a leader. He told me about the different experiences he's had with students and how they were much more than academic advice, but they came to him with real issues. That impact and feeling was like no other to him. And not just for him, but his whole team. They share their experiences so they can learn from each other and take those experiences to set goals and figure out the best way to help students across this campus. He said that work environment is amazing. It's a work environment he's never worked before in, and he really cherishes his organization's culture because of that cooperation, the comfort to be on a deeper level, and that overall morale really gives them that drive to help students and push their boundaries and to do better. Also, he talked about a lot about working with the different people, staff, and students as being able to adapt. He has to analyze and communicate in different situations is a crucial part of his daily routine. With that, he believed that his knowledge and skills are great, but it's really what he's made them into his own and what defines him as a leader, and that has made him so successful at FYS. He cherishes his role that he's had, and he really wants to take, how he's embodied as a leader and that respect he has as a leader and take it into his future endeavors. After interviewing Kevin, I know I realized a lot of things about myself, and I feel like I learned being able to hear how he answered made me think about new ways on how I can be a better leader to some of my coworkers on campus, or, for my boss. Even though she is my superior, I can, be a leader just as much as her to some of my other colleagues. And really listening to him, I thought about new ideas that I could take into every situation, which I'm very glad to have. So I hope that you've enjoyed learning a little bit about someone who I think is going to be a great leader in the future for us and my perspective on this project. Thank you.